that time of week again. The New Poverty by Stephen Armstrong. Now, Stephen Armstrong is a Guardian columnist. For those of you who might not read the papers, I know I certainly don't read them often, to the extent where I had to Google this man's name. But he's a Guardian columnist, so you already know where this is going. It's all about, obviously, poverty and the new modern type of poverty, where now we have more people in work who are suffering from poverty than the usual stereotype of people out of work suffering poverty. And this is essentially, I don't want to be sacrilegious, but it's essentially a modern day Orwell's Road to Wigan Pier. It's a modern day version of that, and in fact he references Road to Wigan Pier multiple times, especially the tripe shop in which Orwell researched the material for that particular work. This is one of those books where it's so filled with stats and facts and information that I had to bust out my old highlighter and get some bits highlighted, because it's just so full of information, particularly to start, particularly the early chapters, full of stats, and some of this will shock you to your core. Now, I thought I was aware of the levels of poverty and the things that people have to put up with in poverty. When I opened this book for the first time, I thought I knew most of what he was going to tell me. I didn't. This will really, really shock you. You will hear stories of people coming out dental work on themselves because they can't afford the bus fare to the dentist. You will hear stories of people leaving behind their kids in the home alone because they have to run out and do a delivery because they work for a delivery firm that's going to find them if they don't make the delivery that day. You will hear untold stories, loads and loads of stories, and particularly you will hear from people who are in poverty themselves. You will hear from charity workers, care workers, social workers, that kind of thing, campaigners and activists. He interviews a wide range of people in this book, and it really throws loads of information at you. I'll give you just a quick example. Eliminating child poverty in the UK would save the lives of 1,400 children under 15 years of age annually. Another one. The book is largely based on William Beveridge's report, Social Insurance and Allied Services report after the Second World War, in which he envisioned how we would eradicate poverty in the post-Second World War era. And it bases a lot of its research on that. And it does say quite a few times that that report is now outdated. It's now not modern, because the way he envisions society is completely changed. But it does base a lot of it on those principles, on those basics. In fact, it talks about the 5 giants that Beveridge reported in his 1942 report. He mentioned, if I can just find it, if you bear with me 1 second, he mentioned 5 giants of poverty. Give me just a second. I think it was not idolatry, squalor, hunger, that kind of thing. He mentioned 5 giants of poverty, and I can't seem to find it. But anyway, he mentioned them, and this book bases itself on, here you go, want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. And basically, this book discusses those 5 wants and how they're coming back into today's society. And he just talks about the lives of people in poverty. It starts out very strong. The second half of the book, it seems to slide into being more about the charities, etc., the social workers side of it, rather than the people themselves. And I thought that was a little bit disappointing. I would have loved a full book full of information on people in poverty, but I guess there's only so much information you can give about people in poverty. And it also talks about some of the problems you will see within the working class that you wouldn't normally associate with poverty and with people being poor. For instance, attitudes towards immigration and the Brexit vote. One of the final chapters of the book is regarding the Brexit vote. And it says, the media like to whip up immigration as being the big problem. But if you look at Hartlepool, it's 97% British. Immigration is not so much of a problem here. What there is frustration. So it's saying that the Brexit vote is was more of a protest vote rather than an actual. On the surface, it may have been about immigration and foreigners and stuff, but underneath, scratch the surface, and it was about sticking it to the man, if you will. One quote that really shocked me was he was talking about this poor lady who's living in poverty, and she's talking about a friend of hers who took her out, and they went to KFC of all places. And she says, me in KFC, I felt about 6 feet tall. As someone who's poor, and obviously that poor, KFC is a luxury to them. It's really, really shocking. It also talks about work, and obviously, as I said, in work poverty is an all-time high. It talks about Sports Direct and companies like that that really, really, really take advantage of workers, etc., and of particularly foreign workers who come in and really take advantage and outsource most of their recruitment and stuff to agencies who will just recruit the simplest, easiest, most easy to bully and manipulate people, and it will outsource them, and it will really treat these people like garbage, and it really talks about workers' rights, etc. So that's it. Go ahead and pick that up. It's really, really interesting. No matter what you think you know about poverty, this will surprise you. Some of the stuff I was reading, I was thinking, wow, it's absolutely astounding to wow. And it even talks about, in one of the early chapters, want. It talks about difference in prices. Of all things, you wouldn't think a difference in a price would be relevant to a discussion about poverty, but it is. It says here, Bright House, right, was selling a Samsung 70-inch LED TV for 156 weekly payments of £26. As you know, Bright House lets you pay in instalments, combining to a grand total of £4,056. The same set was available at Curry's for £1,399. So it talks about how these companies, how these firms take advantage of poor people by letting them pay in instalments, but ultimately they're paying more. It even says about supermarkets, which are normally based in centres, shopping centres and town centres and city centres, which not every poor person is immediately near. Obviously there are some poor people who are well enough, who are lucky enough to live near a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, but a lot of these poor people live in the sticks, in places that aren't near London, and supermarkets are hundreds of miles away or tens of miles away, and even driving to the car costs them money, so they can't afford to do that, so they go to the local shop. But obviously, if anyone who's been in a corner shop will know, prices in there, unless you're buying booze or fags, are ridiculously high sometimes. So it compares. There's actually a table in this book somewhere that compares the prices of a supermarket, the prices of a regular off licence or corner shop, and you're paying so much more for going to the corner shop just to get your bread, your milk, your eggs and whatever else, and tobacco and stuff and whatever you buy, if you're going to a supermarket. So really, really in-depth discussion of poverty and the conditions that breed poverty and the conditions of people in poverty. Go ahead and pick it up. Trust me, I really, really recommend it. The New Poverty by Stephen Armstrong. Read it. I'll see you next time.